Why everyone is suddenly paying attention. Welcome back to Global Currency Watch. Today, I want to start with a question. What if the biggest development in Iraq right now is not a new exchange rate? What if it is not a surprise announcement from the Central Bank of Iraq? What if the most important thing happening is something much bigger, a sequence of events that appears to be moving Iraq toward a completely different economic future? Because this week, something unusual happened. Analysts who normally disagree on almost everything are suddenly focusing on the same set of signals: government formation, Washington meetings, banking reforms, security appointments, international coordination, economic modernization, and most importantly, the growing belief that Iraq is running out of alternatives. In simple terms, many observers believe Iraq has only one practical direction left to go, and that direction is forward. Now let me be clear, this is not a prediction video. I'm not giving you a date, I am not giving you a rate, and I am not telling you that something happens tomorrow. What I am doing is showing you why so many different developments appear to be converging at the same time. Because when multiple pieces of a puzzle begin fitting together simultaneously, serious investors pay attention. The reason this matters is simple. For years, people have been waiting for Iraq's economic reforms to move from preparation into execution. And while nobody outside the highest levels of government knows exactly when major decisions will be finalized, the pattern of developments we're seeing today looks very different from what we've seen in the past. This is no longer about one headline. It's about an entire sequence. And when you understand that sequence, you'll understand why so many analysts are suddenly becoming more focused on structural readiness than on calendar predictions. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why many investors believe Iraq may be approaching one of the most important stages in its economic transformation journey. The final gatekeepers: why cabinet formation matters. Let's start with one of the most important pieces of this story: the defense minister, the interior minister. To many people outside Iraq, these positions sound political, but for international institutions, they represent something much more important: stability. Governments around the world want to know that Iraq can secure its borders, protect investments, maintain internal security, and operate as a reliable international partner. That's why these appointments are receiving so much attention. Before major international agreements move forward, countries want confidence that key security structures are fully functioning. Think about it from an investor's perspective. If you're considering billions of dollars in future projects, you need confidence that political and security institutions are operating effectively. This is one reason why analysts continue to describe these appointments as critical milestones, not because they directly change the value of the currency, but because they help create the environment where larger economic decisions become possible. At the same time, attention is shifting toward Washington. Why? Because high-level meetings between Iraqi officials and American policymakers rarely happen without purpose. These discussions typically focus on banking modernization, economic reform, financial transparency, and international cooperation. Those are exactly the areas Iraq has been working to improve. When Washington remains actively engaged with Iraq's financial future, it sends an important message. It suggests that major international players still view Iraq as a country moving toward deeper integration into the global financial system. That matters, because economic transformation does not happen in isolation. It happens through cooperation, coordination, and credibility. And credibility is exactly what Iraq has been building. Why analysts believe the only door left is up. Now let's talk about the phrase that has captured so much attention recently. The only door left is up. What does that actually mean? It doesn't mean a specific exchange rate. It doesn't mean an overnight miracle. Instead, it refers to Iraq's broader economic trajectory. Let's look at the facts. Iraq possesses some of the largest oil reserves in the world. Its natural resource wealth is enormous. Its geographic position is strategically important. Its population is young. Its infrastructure projects continue expanding. Its banking system is being modernized. Its digital payment systems are growing rapidly. And its relationships with international institutions continue to deepen. When analysts look at those fundamentals, many see a country that appears structurally undervalued compared to its long-term economic potential. That doesn't guarantee immediate outcomes, but it does create pressure for continued modernization. For years, Iraq focused on solving foundational problems, building banking systems, improving compliance, increasing transparency, strengthening reserves, expanding digital payments, reducing cash dependency. These are not exciting headlines, but they are essential because sustainable economic growth requires strong foundations. And many observers believe Iraq has spent years building those foundations. Now attention is shifting toward implementation, not because someone said so, but because the underlying pieces increasingly appear ready. That's why people are paying attention, not because of hype, because of structure. What's happening behind closed doors? One of the biggest questions investors ask is this: what are they discussing behind closed doors? The honest answer is simple. Nobody knows everything. Anyone claiming to know every detail is speculating. However, we do know what major financial discussions typically involve: banking integration, anti-money laundering compliance, cross-border payments, financial transparency, international investment frameworks, currency stability, economic growth strategies. These topics form the backbone of modern financial systems, and Iraq has been working on all of them. One important point many investors miss is that major monetary reforms are usually not announced before preparation is complete. The preparation comes first. The announcement comes later. Think of it like launching a spacecraft. The public sees the launch, but thousands of hours of engineering happen beforehand. The same principle applies here. Years of planning occur before major financial changes become visible. That is why some analysts believe we are seeing evidence of an execution phase, not because everything is finished, but because multiple independent pieces appear to be reaching completion at the same time: government formation, international engagement, banking modernization, digital infrastructure, legislative progress. Each step supports the next, and that's why observers are increasingly talking about sequencing rather than speculation. The big picture and final message. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. For years, Iraq has been rebuilding, not just roads, not just infrastructure, but institutions, financial institutions, government institutions, banking institutions, international relationships. None of this happens overnight. Real transformation takes time. But here's what makes the current environment interesting. The direction appears clearer than it has in years. International engagement remains active. Economic reforms continue. Banking modernization continues. Government formation continues. Strategic partnerships continue. And all of those developments point toward the same destination: a stronger and more internationally integrated Iraqi economy. Does that mean everything is guaranteed? Absolutely not. There are still challenges. There are still risks. There are still unknowns. But the broader trend remains important. The conversation is shifting. Less focus on rumors, more focus on readiness. Less focus on predictions, more focus on progress. And that may be the most important signal of all. If you've followed the Iraqi Dinar story for years, you understand how much patience this journey has required. You've seen predictions come and go. You've watched headlines create excitement and disappointment. But successful long-term investors understand something important. Preparation beats speculation every single time. The people who stay informed, stay patient, and stay grounded in facts are usually the people who make the best decisions. So as we move deeper into 2026, keep watching the real indicators. Watch government progress. Watch banking reforms. Watch international cooperation. Watch economic modernization, because that's where the real story is unfolding. And if the current sequence continues, the coming months could become one of the most important periods Iraq has experienced in its modern economic history. Thank you for watching Global Currency Watch. Stay informed, stay patient, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next update.